Asexualise.com and author of Asexual Perspectives out on Amazon. So today I want to talk to you about being an admin of asexual groups and how difficult it is. So I'm an admin of 4 asexual groups on Facebook. One is Asexual Business Gurus and Entrepreneurs, which is an open group. The rest are 3 closed groups, so I've got 4 in total. So another one is Asexual Friends, which basically is for anyone and everyone across the asexual spectrum. And it even has a few people in it that are partners of asexuals, but they're not actually asexual themselves. That was upon my discretion, but in general, it's all asexuals. Then we have the Asexualise dating for asexuals only who don't want sex. That's a very specific niche group. That's for asexuals who never want sex in a relationship ever. And then I have my new group, which is the grey asexual and demisexual dating group, and that is what it says on the tin. It's a dating group for those who identify on the grey asexual end of the spectrum or have some grey A in them, and it's also for demisexuals. So I think that covers the majority of asexuals across all those 4 groups. But I want to talk to you about how hard it is to be an admin and how you need to be mindful and not give admins a hard time, which I see some admins being given a really hard time in some groups, and I've been at the brunt of it myself, specifically on one occasion. So as an admin, I didn't know what I was going to let myself in for when I became the admin of an asexual group, you know. I don't like making decisions sometimes about whether people are suitable or not to be in a group. But I soon understood as an admin, you have to be judgmental. We as generally asexuals as well, we don't like being judged, right? Because society kind of judges us all the time about, you know, us being asexual, and it's kind of the last thing you want to do is judge someone else. But with great power, as they say, comes great responsibility. So I take my groups very, very seriously, and I don't just let anyone in them. Some asexual groups, they let anyone in them, and I mean they have sexuals in them besides asexuals. They just think, oh, that person wants to join, yep, let's add them, without properly checking out their profiles. I'm different, right? I actually go on people's profiles the majority of the time and check them out, you know, and I will literally think whether I feel they're suitable to be in the group or not, with the existing team in the group, with what I believe, you know, they are looking for out of the group, you know, what they're hoping to get out of it, and also particularly where I think they're asexual or not. Now that is quite controversial, right? You don't want people to judge whether they're asexual or not. You know, if someone says they're asexual, that's fine, but a lot of people, they're not saying they're asexual, they're seeing just a dating group. And this is what happens, you know. They see a dating group, some people, and they think, great, it's another dating group, and they're sexual and they join it, or they request to join it. People have to answer questions to get into my groups, you know. The majority of people answer questions, get in. The people that don't answer their questions, I have to go on their profile and decide where I think they're suitable or not. Or sometimes, you know, if they're in no asexual groups already, I will just not have them in my group. Because if they haven't bothered to answer the questions, then why should I bother having them in my group? Because they're not going to be very proactive. Or, you know, they don't deserve to be in the group, quite frankly, if they're not going to bother to take the time to answer questions, you know? It's like when you walk into a room, you don't just like walk in there and not know the rules, if you know what I mean. You say hello to people, you don't be rude as well, you know. The questions are a bit like a formality of saying an introduction to yourself and why you want to be in the group. So I wanted to just express how difficult it is to be an admin of a group. When I first became an admin, I didn't realise the huge responsibility, but it's because I take it very seriously, and especially the safety of the people in my groups. And I've had people telling me about people in my groups, and the majority of the time I've had to kick some people out if I get complaints. I give some people warnings and another chance, but the majority of time, if they're really, you know, if they're being disgusting, if they're posting nude, naked pictures, you know, they'll be out. Because as an asexual, you know, if they're putting private messaging someone in my group and they're sending them blooming nude photographs, like pictures of their penis and stuff, they're out of it. I'm not having that, you know, because it's unlikely they're asexual if you just met them and they're trying to show you pictures of their penis. And I've known of people in other groups. There was a guy in another group that I got talking to, and he said he was asexual and told me he was single, and he wasn't. And he was actually, you know, he's very, very good at lying. Very, very good at lying. He had an asexual girlfriend, you know, and I had to tell the admin of that group, and we had to prove that he was lying. You know, so it's hard. And he's very sweet and innocent to a lot of people, but he wasn't a good guy, you know. He's lying, basically, and not being very good with people he approached. He didn't just approach me, he approached other women. And it's ridiculous, you know, going around friending women, asexual women, just to basically get long-distance online relationships and be not very good with them. Creepy and obscene, really, from what I got of the feedback from various people. So it's not good. And, you know, he wasn't in my groups. I didn't let him, but he requested to be in my groups. And this is what I mean. Just because someone requests to be in your group, if you're an admin and listen to this, it doesn't mean to say they're actually asexual. And you should check out their profile and you shouldn't feel bad about it. There tends to be this consensus with some of the admins that I'm not checking their profile. If someone says they're asexual, they're asexual. But are they actually saying they're asexual? Or are they just requesting to be in the asexual group? That's two completely different things. And even if they say they're asexual, are they really, you know, asexual? If you look at their profile. And yes, I have to make judgments as an admin of groups. I don't want to, but I do want to if it keeps the safety of the people in my groups. And I will do that. And I will wear my heart on my sleeve and do that. If people don't like it, tough. That's the way I am. You know, you wouldn't have a shop and be the manager of a shop and not manage it and make judgments about people that you interview to let in that shop who work for you, would you? It's the same when you're an admin. You have a huge responsibility to let the people in that group in your, you know, think of it like a shop. Think of an admin like being a shopkeeper, and think of an admin like being a shop manager. You know, I've been in management for 7 years previously, so I know what I'm talking about, you know. I'm not just going to let any employee work for me, right? If you get the wrong employees for you, believe me, it can be a nightmare. I employed a couple of people, right, in 2 of the jobs I had. They were brilliant in their interview. They actually got in the groups. Sorry, I'm talking about groups. Got in the shop, and they were a nightmare. But, you know, and the rest of the time, the people that I picked were good. So, you know, you've got to use your own judgment, and you won't always get it right as an admin. I'm not always going to get it right. I've let people in my group and haven't realised because they've been really nice to me. I thought they were asexual, and clearly they've been, you know, indecent to other people, and they're out. So I don't get it right all the time. But, you know, it's no good giving admins a hard time when they're trying their very best to get the best combination in the group. It's no good me letting certain people, like, I've seen people with guns on their profile, and I'm not just talking about play guns. There was one guy, he had a gun on a couch, and, you know, it looked like it was in someone's house he'd been round to. Machine gun. I'm not going to put a guy like that in my group. I'm just not going to do it. I don't care whether he's asexual or what he is. I'm not going to do it. There was another guy who had a picture of a Christian priest with loads of soldiers around him, going to shoot the priest against Christianity, basically. Anyone in my groups, a Christian, you know, they're not going to get on with them. I'm not going to put these people in my groups. I'm not going to put the safety of my groups at risk, and I'm not going to put people in there that clearly are going to conflict with other people in the group. I'm not going to do it. And, you know, I'm not going to go around putting people in my groups that are putting things with guns like that on their profile. It's ridiculous. I'm not doing it, and that's my judgment, and that's my decision. And although we might not like being judged as asexuals, we might not like making judgments, in life you have to. And that's that, you know, every time you breathe and you walk outside your door, you're judging people. You're judging people even if it's only on a subconscious level. You know, you need to be safe. You need to keep yourself safe. And you need to judge, you know, situations as well. You have to judge how far the car is coming, you know, and how quick it's coming towards you when you walk across the road. You need to judge where some person's going to walk out with their pushchair with their kid in it and go right across in front of you if they're just basically in your path. You need to judge where your umbrella is going to knock someone in the eye. You need to judge where some person's going to, you know, basically turn around and smack you on sometimes. You need to judge whether people are drunk are going to get violent, you know, and this is, you have to make judgments all the time. So when there's this stigma around, you know, judging people is so bad, you judge people judge people all the time, whether they like it or not. They may think they don't, but they do. They judge the friends they have, they judge the family they have, they judge the people they come into contact. But you might not use the word judge. You might use the word reflect. You reflect, which is a much more better word, isn't it? So when people come into my group or they request to be in my group, I look at their profile and reflect if they'd be suitable for the group. So you see, it's a terminology. I don't have to use the word judge at all. I can use the word reflect, ponder, take in the information and make a conscious decision about it. So there you go. Either way you look at it. But I just have to say, and there's lots of different groups for specific niches. Now, one of the things that, there were some newbies that came into my asexual dating group for no sex dating group. And it clearly states it's no sex dating group for asexuals in the description and even in the header profile, right? And some newbies came in and all of a sudden I was getting bombarded with the people in my group telling me, oh, you can't have it just for people who don't want sex. You know, you can't do that. It's excluding all the others. That group is a specific niche for those who don't want sex like myself, because I was fed up of going to other asexual dating groups and find there were so many people on the spectrum that I couldn't find anyone like me, an asexual who didn't want sex. Every asexual I spoke to, or every person I spoke to, part of them weren't even asexual. You know, there was quite a lot of those that I spoke to that weren't asexual. You know, they have different needs. They want sex. I don't. So just as you have other sections of groups, you know, you have different niche groups of asexuals. They don't have to be asexuals across the whole spectrum in every single group. You have asexual geeks and nerds, for example. You have aromantic asexuals. You have demi-romantic asexuals. You have, you know, demisexuals asexuals. You have niche groups. You have asexual authors group. You know, these are all niche groups. You have the asexual Aussies groups, the asexual, you know, you have the Avon group. You know, you have all different groups on there. So I'm perfectly entitled to have an asexual dating group for asexuals who don't want sex. And I want to keep that a safe haven for anyone who doesn't want sex. It's no good someone coming into the group and saying, well, actually, I do want sex. It's fine if you do want sex and you're asexual, just the group wouldn't be suitable for you. Like, if I go to asexual nerds and geeks, but I'm not a nerd or geek and I hate that type of thing, I'm not going to fit in that group, am I? It's the same sort of thing. So don't give admins a hard time. If you want to be in a group, apply to be in a group. If there's any questions, answer the questions and enjoy the group. You know, if you don't want to be in the group, then just leave. It's your choice. There's tons of asexual groups on Facebook. That's the beauty of it. You can pick a group that's right for you. And if you don't think it's right for you, you just leave. That's it. Period. No one's upset. No one's hurt. It's just go, right? You know, sometimes you change jobs, don't you? Because you feel the job doesn't fit you anymore. Or you might go to a job and you think, gosh, I've taken the wrong job here. It doesn't feel right. So same type of thing when you go in groups. So anyway, I just wanted to give you sort of some insight into what it's like to be an admin of a group and sort of group dynamics. I hope that's been helpful to you. Please give the video a thumbs up if you like it. Please comment. What have you found out about groups? Do you like it? What have you know, how do you feel about admins in groups? How do you feel about different niche groups? What do you think? Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please share this video with all your friends. And until next time, please embrace your quirky and each other's, and I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.